is a smart city? And that's a question that everyone should be asking, because there are so many definitions about smart city. A city that uses information and communications technology to make both its critical infrastructure, its components and utilities more interactive, efficient, and making citizens more aware of them. And I think that's the right definition which has been agreed by the Smart Cities Council and a few other players in the industry as a right perspective of putting a smart city in. And to simplify that, it's all about solving human problems, real-life social problems, through the intelligent and integrated use of information, communication, and technology. And that resonates very well, and you will see why with the Ooredoo Group vision of human growth and solving human problems. So what goes into making a smart city? What is the anatomy of a smart city? We classify them into 4 layers: the infrastructure layer, the transmission media layer, the network layer, and the user requirements layer. And what role do we as service providers and operators play here? I think right from the infrastructure layer, we are best positioned as a fixed service provider to provide the ducts, the cabinets, the basic civil infrastructure. Moving up, the transmission media, and that's where we have vendors who supply us. You have the fiber optics and the wireless media. You have the 2G, 3Gs, 4Gs of the world. Then comes players like Ericsson and Qualcomm, who provide us with the data communications layer to provide those services, whether it be FTTX or whether it be a 4G LTE based network. And right on top is where the OTT players are there. And that's where your home automation is, that's where your applications are, that's where all the smartness in all of this interconnecting these layers comes into play. And we as operators are there right at layer 1 to layer 3. But what we are trying to do is evolve into layer 4 through partnerships and innovative business models. So moving across into what is our role in a smart city as a service provider, and why should we be playing that role is critical. And let's examine what should be our role. And that's what we in Ooredoo believe, that we should become an ecosystem player. We should be the facilitator of that ecosystem to help blend in all those layers and the providers from each of those layers. And that's where you truly become an ICT provider within these smart cities and the smart cities services provider. The most important stakeholder to get on board within the region and in the context of the region is the government, because the government has a lot of stakes in enabling a city to be smart, and we'll see the reasons for that. Another important stakeholder are the utility service providers, who derive a lot of benefit out of it, and they can pass on those benefits to the consumers of those utilities. The real estate developers, who really put in a lot of money and who tend to use this as a marketing tool to differentiate themselves. The consumers and the customers of the service providers. Healthcare and education, we have heard a lot about mHealth, eHealth, e-education, and the emergency and critical services providers. And we playing the central role of creating that ecosystem, that glue that puts all of these stakeholders together and provide services. And why should we be doing it? And I think we have heard a lot about the numbers, the revenue erosion, the threat from OTT players. I think this is a new revenue stream. And that's one of the reasons why Ooredoo created a new business unit within the group and within Ooredoo Qatar to cater into the adjacencies markets. And that's what we are doing, of creating new revenue streams. We are, again, the best position to play that ecosystem player, because we don't come from a manufacturing or vendor-centric, a technology-centric approach. We come from more of a service provisioning approach. To facilitate the digital economy, I think we, as the mobile service providers and as GSMA has been advocating, are the catalyst for the digital economy. And last but not the least is the corporate social responsibility angle to it. And right in the morning, we saw CSR need not just be a charity work. There's a whole lot of business benefits that the whole ecosystem can derive out of one particular CSR initiatives. And to just name one is the carbon footprint. By just implementing smart meters, there's around 27 million tons of carbon footprint that would be reduced. That amounts to around 1.2 billion trees being saved. So, we as the operators missed the OTT wave. We just gave it up because we never saw that coming. But now we at least are on the cusp of understanding the smart city wave and the smartness. And I think if we don't grab this opportunity of playing an ecosystem player or an ICT services provider, I think you have quite a lot who are vying for that piece of business. So what are the challenges we are facing in coming up with that? I think there are a few internal challenges and external factors, and I'll quickly go through that. One of the biggest problems is the lion's share of revenue comes from connectivity. So whenever you go with a business case, there's always, oh, why do we need to do this when we are getting money out of connectivity? We are nimble and agile. There's a need for new skill sets as operators. New business models and engagement models. No longer looking at OTTs as competitors, but complementers. Partnerships and alliances that needs to be forged to be that ecosystem player. External factors is our customers' perception about we just being a communication services provider. Building that ecosystem and harmonizing the players. It's a great task to pull all these different stakeholders together and harmonizing the network to be able to provide those services. Investments, and that's where the real estate developers start shrinking and crying and saying, oh, does it cost that much to be providing these? So these are a few of those aspects which are posing as challenges to the operators, which I'm sure we will be able to come up as we have done in the past. So quickly, just one or two slides on the case study that I was talking to you about, where Ooredoo is working closely with one of the smart cities in Qatar. Lusail is a small city being built to the north of Doha. It's to accommodate around 500,000 people. And this is part of the Qatar National Vision of 2030 and in the run-up to the 2022 FIFA Games. And that's where the opening and the closing ceremony of the Games would be. And what are we doing there and how did we really go about with our vision? As you know, the Ooredoo vision is to enrich customers' everyday lives and help fulfill the dreams and aspirations. And that's the foundation that we built on when we built our smart city vision, which is building the future city of Qatar that enriches people's everyday lives, helps fulfill dreams and aspirations through efficient, sustainable services delivered by an integrated ICT infrastructure. And how did that connect into one of our important and key stakeholders, which is the Qatar National Vision on the 4 fundamental pillars of human development, social development, economic development, and environmental development. So that's how we built up the whole story, and that's how we went about with the smart city position. So these are a few of the services, I need not really go into detail, that we as a smart services provider do at the smart city. We are at the designing and the envisioning stage where we are providing these services. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you.